Sorry, guys, what's going on? Welcome in here to Rover Sports. For some reason, this camera's a little blurry. I'm aware that it's blurry. Holy shit, what a fucking day in the NFL, man. A lot of you guys are going to go back and listen to this podcast. It's going to be about 15 minutes. Shit is wild. Everybody's at dinner right now. Cleveland Browns, the whole NFL is burning to the ground. I'm trying to figure out my Periscope. This is so exciting when there's breaking news and you're just so excited that you just cannot wait to get in front of a camera and just sort out all this shit. And, you know, Jet Central filled me in on Sherman, on Tyrod Taylor. That is by far the most exciting news on so many levels. The Tyrod Taylor news being the quarterback. Jarvis Landry, we thought that Jarvis Landry had a good chance to be traded because he was franchise tagged and he's worth $15 million, I believe. So this move is just fucking crazy. And for Cleveland, there's so many things to be said. Where do the Browns stand? I'm sure you guys are firing in the comment section. I'm trying to get my Periscope uploaded. I mean, listen, we'll have to see what's going on. You know, maybe my Periscope will work. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's insane, okay? It's totally insane. I got my Periscope to work. Here we go. Come on, let me copy this. Got it. We are up and rolling, guys. I'm going to check your comments right now. Periscope is rolling because you want to hit all fucking forms of social media when you can. And I thought that Jarvis Landry would be enough today, like a premier receiver going to the Cleveland Browns. But now the Cleveland Browns, it's almost like John Dorsey is high as balls, like he's taking Oxycontin, or he's just high as balls and he's just throwing shit against the wall and seeing if it sticks and trading for quarterbacks and everything. It's so much fun. I applaud Cleveland for being this ballsy. They're never at the epicenter of the NFL landscape. And listen, I'm going right into my account here, guys, and I'm going to read your comments right now, and then I'm going to give a little ceremony about what I think. So Jabari's in the house. My guy Hakeem is also in the house. He's the first guy in off the jump. Here we go, guys. But without any further ado, here we go. Tyrod Taylor to the Cleveland Browns. This is a decent move. It's not a great move. In terms of where I view Tyrod Taylor, I'm not as high as him as a lot of people are. I saw that game against Jacksonville. He has issues throwing it down the field. He's a one-look guy, he's a one-read guy, and then he's a scramble guy. Now, what I really think is going to happen is Tyrod Taylor is a veteran. He's smart. He's respected in this league. Tyrod Taylor was going to be released by the Buffalo Bills because his contract was high, because the Buffalo Bills were being kind of assholes to him in the middle of the season. They put in Nathan Peterman, and then Peterman shit the bed for 7 interceptions in like 2 minutes, and everyone's like, Nate Peterman blows. So Buffalo gets a third-round pick for Tyrod Taylor. Quite a haul for the Buffalo Bills. Quite a haul. Very nicely done. That third-round pick's probably going to be really good. It might be the first pick of the third round, which essentially might be a second pick. And they might have even gotten a 2019 pick for Tyrod Taylor. So, basically, a very good wide receiver in Jarvis Landry that has a lot more value than an aging quarterback gets fifth-round value, and Tyrod, the Bills get third-round value. So, if this is true, Buffalo did a hell of a job. Now, the way I view Tyrod Taylor, I think A.J. McCarron is better than Taylor. I think that, honestly, DeShone Kizer has more upside. I'm just not a Tyrod Taylor fan. The guy's a check-down guy. He's inconsistent. He's skittish. His arm strength down the field is good, but in terms of can he throw out routes, not really. Now, what I really do think, what I really do want, is I want the Cleveland Browns. If I were the Cleveland Browns, I'm a Giants fan, so I want Saquon Barkley. The guy is, first of all, he'll change the chemistry in your locker room. He's a home run hitter. If you add Saquon Barkley, you then have Duke Johnson and Saquon Barkley and Corey Coleman. Like, Corey Coleman could be what Ty Montgomery was to the Green Bay Packers. Cop Pizzle, man, what is going on? on? My guy Pizzle is in the house. The greatest Giants YouTuber, I think, in all of the land has joined my podcast. And Cop, man, I really want Saquon Barkley. You know I've wanted Saquon Barkley. But here's the thing. This doesn't guarantee, just because Tyrod Taylor's on the Cleveland Browns, it doesn't guarantee that they're not going to take a quarterback with 1 and 4. If I had to put my money on it, they are going to take a quarterback. And if they fall in love with Sam Darnold, they're going to take Sam Darnold. What I would have done if I was Cleveland is, it's very interesting that they're getting Tyrod Taylor, because let's kind of hypothesize why they're doing this. Maybe one, at 4, maybe the Broncos and the Jets think that the Browns won't be taking a quarterback if they take Saquon Barkley. So maybe the Browns can sell, hey, we're all in with Tyrod at 4. Don't worry, Jets or Broncos, you don't need to be desperate and trade up. We're going to take Quentin Nelson, or we're going to take Minkah Fitzpatrick at 4, okay? So, listen, I think that the Browns should still take Baker Mayfield. Out of every quarterback in this class, Baker Mayfield is my favorite quarterback, and he's substantially better than Tyrod Taylor. He throws with anticipation, goes through his reads better. I don't know if you guys are high on Tyrod Taylor, but I don't think Tyrod Taylor is going to be the guy. I think Jabari is totally right. I think that he's totally a placeholder. It now makes Deshaun Kaiser open on the market. What is crazy to me is that Hugh Jackson still has a job. Todd Haley is a very interesting character because he is a very highly acclaimed coordinator who got a head coaching job in Kansas City that Ben Roethlisberger didn't like. But listen, it's Todd freaking Haley, right? It's Todd Haley. So we're going to have to see now. So now I think the Browns should take Saquon at 1. But at number 4, I would take Baker Mayfield. Now, the 2 best quarterbacks in this class, I think you have quarterbacks 1 and 2, and then a huge drop-off. So I've been looking into the quarterbacks even more. The top quarterbacks are Baker Mayfield and Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen is a shoo-in thing. Josh Rosen will not be a backup. He's going to be Matt Ryan. And that's me being completely unbiased, guys. Because listen, do I like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen significantly more than Rosen? Yes. Why is Josh Rosen going to be likable? He basically, Josh Rosen, is the silver spoon and mouth kid from UCLA, hasn't won anything, hasn't had a ton of challenges. That's not really his fault, but then Josh Rosen is very polarizing. He hates on a lot of political figures, whether you love or hate him. He said that thing about college athletes and insulted Alabama and the entire SEC. Josh Rosen is a walking soundbite. Same with Baker Mayfield. I totally get why people hate Baker Mayfield too. The thing is, these guys on the field are incredibly, incredibly good players. Okay, period. And then you have Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. These guys are going to need tons of development. And then you have Sam Darnold, that I think he's just totally, totally overrated. So this is the thing about Cleveland now. Jarvis Landry to Cleveland, that doesn't really change much. Did they get good players out of all this? They kind of just shook everything up with this Tyrod Taylor thing. They're not substantially getting better. First of all, for everybody that wants to say Cleveland's getting great, look at the Tampa Bay Bucks of last year. Deshaun Jackson, O.J. freaking Howard, who had 1 billion yards against Clemson, who is one of the safest tight end prospects that we've ever seen. Doug Martin comes back. Jameis Winston under Dirk Cutter. Everyone thinks that the Bucs are going to win the South and be incredible, and the Bucs go 3-7 and suck. Brandon Marshall goes to the Giants on a $6 million deal. Evan Ingram from Ole Miss, the fastest tight end, one of the smoothest tight ends in the class in terms of his route running, goes to the Giants. How do they do? How does Eli do? All the fantasy guys are like, Eli's going to have a tremendous year. People are buying the Kool-Aid everywhere. I talked to my guy, Cop Pizzle, that's in on the comments, and he said, him and Shenko, they said that the Giants are even more talented than the teams that have won a Super Bowl. And I wasn't completely disagreeing with them. I thought the Giants were going to win the East as well. But guess what happens in the offseason? Not a lot of shit actually translates to the field. It's all just numbers and players and Jarvis Landry, he doesn't have, first of all, Jarvis Landry is a very outspoken guy as well. Jarvis Landry, he doesn't catch a lot of deep balls. You think Josh Gordon's just going to come in and roll? We're still dealing with a coach that is 1-31 as a head coach. It's unbelievable that Hugh Jackson is not reprimanded at all for winning 1-31 games. I mean, if you put a 5-year-old and gave him a clipboard, odds are he can maybe get 3 wins in the National Football League, and Hugh Jackson suddenly is getting elevated to this stature. Now, I think Cleveland, like I said, I think Cleveland would be very beneficial for Cleveland to take Saquon Barkley number 1. Because then you have Duke Johnson, you have Saquon, and then at number 4, you maybe can get Minkah Fitzpatrick. I would draft Baker Mayfield. I love Baker Mayfield. Some people like Mayfield, some people like Josh Rosen. So if I were Cleveland, I would totally do that. I would now draft Saquon, and listen, Sam Darnold I think is a huge bust. Tyrod Taylor, I'm not a huge fan of Tyrod Taylor's game. I just don't like his game. And in the playoffs, he didn't even take chances. I'd rather a quarterback throw interceptions than what Tyrod displayed against Jacksonville. He's way too timid. He's hit or miss. He doesn't go through all his progressions. He's a one-read guy. Although Rick Dennison was a terrible offensive coordinator, and the thing is, John Dorsey and Todd Haley, they usually like big-armed quarterbacks as well. So for Tyrod Taylor, it's going to be interesting. I still think that Cleveland is getting their quarterback. A guy to watch out for is Kyle Lauletta of Richmond. Now let's talk a little bit about what Miami's doing. Miami is completely turning everything over. They're getting Quinn. They're getting rid of their running back. Last year, the British kid Ajayi, and now Jarvis Landry is gone. I don't think it's going to hurt them that much in the long run. I think that Jarvis Landry is just a cap casualty. I'm usually on the side, if you guys watch my show, I'm usually on the side of the teams that get rid of the wide receivers. It's the same way I kind of view Beckham. It's the same way that I view Allen Robinson. Khalid asks, would the Bears trade with the Bills so that they could get a QB? Absolutely. I think the Bears are sitting pretty right now at number 8. The Bears basically, Khalid, first of all, if you connect the dots, Zay Jones last year was the Eastern Carolina wide receiver, and the wide receiver coach of Eastern Carolina went to Buffalo, and I knew for 3 months that Zay Jones would be a Bill. Quentin Nelson, his offensive line coach is on the Bears. If he's at 8, it's a guarantee that Quentin Nelson's going to be there. You don't even have to even watch, okay? He will be going at number 8. Now, could Calvin Ridley be at number 8? Yeah, maybe. If I were the Bears, you would get quite a haul from the Buffalo Bills in that spot. The Buffalo Bills, from what we're hearing, they like Josh Rosen from UCLA, which is understandable. The Broncos really do like Josh Rosen. I think the Jets like Rosen. So I think that the Bills, I think the quarterbacks are going to fly off this board. I think Josh Allen will slip because Josh Allen, as much as I like him, he could certainly be a bust. My favorite quarterback is Kyle Lauletta. Was Kaiser really traded to the Packers? Is that really true? Let me see. I mean, there's so much shit going down. You have no idea where you stand. I didn't even get to Richard Sherman yet. Richard Sherman released by the Seattle Seahawks, a complete remaking there. Are they tanking or not? Who the hell knows? But listen, I don't think that they're... I think that the Seahawks are actually doing the right thing because I think that time has been over. Oh my God, it is true. Wow. So now Cleveland has Tyrod. And DeShone Kizer is gone. He's now going to a place where essentially, I mean, people are going to connect the dots, Brett Hundley 2.0, that's what everybody's going to be saying. But I like DeShone Kizer a lot. I kind of feel bad for DeShone Kizer. I think that he can play immediately. I think that the quarterbacks coach did a terrible job. He was overcoached by Hugh Jackson. And the quarterbacks coach was such a dick to DeShone Kizer that he was putting a brick in front of his foot and literally saying, hey, DeShone, you're overstriding. You can't overstride. The coaches just tore him apart. Brian Kelly was a complete asshole. The coaching staff, like DeShone Kizer's gotten a raw deal. Just Brian Kelly's like, this kid's so immature. I look at DeShone Kizer. This dude is so talented, and he's only in his first year. And the Browns, they benched DeShone Kizer in the middle of the season. They have no social skills. They have no psychological skills whatsoever in that organization. And that's why DeShone Kizer, he couldn't get into any kind of rhythm. And then they draft these projects like David Njoku, who I didn't like at all. Jabril Peppers, who the hell knows how to use Jabril Peppers? No one knows. So the Browns just draft all these combine warriors, and they just throw shit against the wall all the time, and they have no discrete plan. So we'll see if John Dorsey actually has a plan. But DeShone Kizer, I would want to go to Arizona. Listen, if you put DeShone Kizer and A.J. McCarron together, DeShone Kizer can beat out A.J. McCarron. There's quarterbacks in the NFL like Bortles. DeShone Kizer is a very good player. And yeah. Alrighty, guys. So we're live on YouTube. Rover Sports here. Got a hell of an audience. You guys are unbelievable. What team is Sherman going to go to? Is Sherman going to New England? King Braz and Gravin Kicks both asking the question, where is Richard going to go? I'm going to pull up my Periscope feed because there are a lot of people that are probably on there right now. In fact, we have a couple of people are favoriting my Periscope. But enough about the stupid Periscope, right? Where is Richard going to go? Richard to the Bears. I think Sherman, honestly, and this is not what Bears fans are gonna like, but I look at Green Bay. They haven't had a good corner in a long time. I look at Mike Pettine being there. I think that he wants to play with a very good quarterback. So you have Aaron Rodgers, and then you have gaping holes. I know Kevin King was over there. The dude number 36. Gunfer was really bad. If you remember that Cowboys game, Bryce Butler just burned the shit out of Ladarius Gunter all the time. So I believe that, first of all, Sherman wants to play for a quarterback that can win. He's getting old. I think it's a possibility he could go to Detroit because Detroit is going to get rid of DJ Hayden. They're going to have a free slot. Chicago. But the thing is, Matt Stafford's pretty good. I could see Sherman really wanting to play with Aaron Rodgers. I could see Sherman also looking at New England. I know that that's a cliche pick, but Sherman loves football. That's one thing I love about Richard is he's so passionate. And a couple of years ago, listen, I think that a lot of people now, like Sherman and Josh Norman, they love the game. Sherman's a smart dude. He has a winning mentality. I think it'd be smart for people to bring in Richard Sherman. And yes, Salvador, it's fucking nuts out here, man. Everything is going crazy. I know people on YouTube that are making just videos a couple at a time, but I'm kind of giving you a full-line podcast. And Richard Sherman to Kansas City, it absolutely begs the question. Marcus Peters leaves. I think Richard Sherman, I doubt that he would go to the San Francisco 49ers. I doubt it. Kansas City's in the mix. I would say New England. Now, the Dallas Cowboys, they did invest last year in Jordan Lewis and Chidobe Awuzie, but they have no problem going out there and making a splash. But listen, Richard Sherman wants to play with an elite-level quarterback. That means he's thinking Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. And I personally think that Jimmy's an elite quarterback, but I don't think Sherman's going to the Niners. There's just too much blood between those two. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think Sherman's going to the Niners. I would like the Niners to sign Tremaine Johnson from the Rams. I think Johnson is great, small school kid, has long, lengthy arms to play in the cover 3 system, because that's the thing. A lot of mock drafts have the Niners taking Denzel Ward, but who knows if Denzel Ward actually fills the measurables, and then who would you rather have, Tremaine Johnson or Jackson from Iowa? That's why you should go with a linebacker, Tremaine Edmonds or Roquan Smith. I think Roquan Smith probably. I mean, both of those guys are pretty damn high on the totem pole. This is great, guys. What a day. You like free agency even more than the NFL draft? I don't know about that. The first round is absolutely incredible, but this is strange. We've never had this many trades ever in our life. Could Sherman go to the Chargers? That's interesting with Phillip Rivers, and he can join Casey Hayward. That would be very interesting. But again, we'll see where the Niners go. We'll see where this goes. I believe that Saquon Barkley, I believe now he has a great chance at going number one. Do I think he's going to go number one? It's Cleveland. And so many people, hate on running backs and say that you should draft Sam Darnold number one. I'm not a Sam Darnold fan at all. I think Sam Darnold is skittish in the pocket. I question how he is going to be I look at Josh Rosen and Baker Mayfield. They actually have better leadership, I think, than Sam Darnold. And Darnold is skittish and doesn't have the arm and anticipation that these other guys have. Baker Mayfield has great anticipation, very good footwork, very confident, and very good IQ of football. And Josh Rosen is like a rocket science with football. Josh Rosen's going to be a very good quarterback in the NFL. Love him or hate him, he's going to be pretty good. And then you look at Kyle Lauletta out of Richmond again. That might be my third quarterback because Josh Allen I'm just not a fan of. But here's what I think of the Cleveland Browns. First of all, today, did the Cleveland Browns get better? I think that they're making a lot of splashy moves, but the thing is about the Cleveland Browns is that they still have Hugh Jackson, who's not a very good head coach. They get a quarterback that I'm not in love with Tyrod Taylor. They get a wide receiver that's pretty decent. Josh Gordon's coming back. There's more excitement, and if the Browns take Saquon Barkley, that would be a huge step for that franchise because that guy's a franchise-caliber player. That's one of the safest picks that we've seen. I mean, any prognosticator would say that Saquon Barkley is the safest pick in this draft. And the one thing I do like about bringing in Tyrod is that, now with the fourth pick, I would go get Mayfield or Josh Rosen. Preferably, I'd get Baker Mayfield. He has more enthusiasm about playing in Cleveland. Josh Rosen, if you remember, didn't want to play in certain places. That's part of Josh Rosen and his whole shtick that he has to overcome. So then you have Baker Mayfield and Tyrod Taylor to battle it out. And the way it's kind of seeming, it would make sense, right, if Baker Mayfield was there because Tyrod and Baker are both about the same size and they theoretically play a similar style of ball. So I think Tyrod is totally a placeholder. I really, really do. I really do. Arizona, Honey Badger is supposed to be taking a pay cut. Will Sam Darnold be a USC bust? I don't know. But the thing is, everybody gets caught up. Everybody gets caught up in free agency. And, the thing I want to tell you guys, again, my message, is that Brandon Marshall, everybody crowned the Giants were going to be the offseason champions. Everybody crowned the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of last year as offseason champions. And just because Cleveland is out here making these moves, it doesn't mean at all that they're going to translate. Could Josh Gordon just come back and be great? Maybe, but not likely. Is Jarvis, Landry, and Gordon better or an upgrade? It is, but again, you have to have an offensive line. You have to have defense. You have to have culture of winning. You have to have a head coach. And there's so many things that Cleveland just does not have. And now they're tied up with their cap even more. I'm not a huge fan of all these moves. I would be on draft night. So I'm not a fan of Tyrod that much. He's an okay quarterback. And really it might be a move towards the future because there's no way with Tyrod that they're going to be keeping him there's no way that Tyrod, I think, is just going to be the plug-in starter. And DeShone Kizer going to Green Bay, I don't know what that's all about. I really don't. I mean, Kaiser's so much more talented than Brett Hundley, but the Rams are paper tigers as well, King Braz. I mean, the Rams, their offseason, it is so hit or miss. I mean, they have personalities all over the field with Marcus Peters, with Talib. I mean, Talib is a guy who gets in fights all the time. He had, incident in the nightclub, and Peters got kicked off his team. But are they talented guys? Yes. And if Wade Phillips, the one thing about Talib that's very good is that he loves working with Wade Phillips, and Wade Phillips knows how he ticks. So I think the Rams, I give them some trust because I love the Rams coaching staff. I love Todd Gurley, and but I don't think the Rams are better than the Niners, and I'm going to stick true to that because I think that San Francisco is going to get quite a lot better. They're going to sign Tremaine Johnson. Marquis was a very good signing, and I know that the Rams just won the NFC, but Jimmy Garoppolo, I think that he's a top 3 player in the NFL. I think he will be the MVP next year. So that's how much expectation I'm putting in Jimmy Garoppolo. And if Jimmy is as good as advertised, then I'd be surprised if the Niners don't win the NFC West. I really do. But the Rams, listen, the Rams are seriously making so many moves. The Chicago Bears, Khalid, I really love their coaching staff. I actually like Helfrich. I think he gives a different dynamic. And I think that the Chicago Bears are doing okay. We'll see if Fuller comes back. Josh Sidden was let go, which, again, I thought Sidden was pretty good. But I guess he was a little too much money. The Bears are sort of just floating right now. Are the Niners on the rise? I think the Niners are going at a great trajectory. I've liked the re-signings, and we'll have to see with Carlos Hyde. I actually would like Richard Sherman in Kansas City. I would. But again, is Sherman going to want to go there with Mahomes? And now the Chiefs are going through all this transition, so I doubt it with Brett Veach. I doubt that it's actually going to happen. And yes, I do value Jimmy Garoppolo. Yes, so the NFL was incredible. We got college basketball that is going to be totally awesome. I gave you my thoughts. I don't think again. Out of all the moves, Jarvis Landry, I think, is an okay player. I think he's a little bit overrated because nobody watched Dolphins games whatsoever. I'm happy for Jarvis that he at least is getting in more of a place that's ready to win football games. I look at Tyrod. He is strictly a mentor of the quarterback position. Deshaun Kaiser was unhappy in Cleveland. They let him go. I think it's actually idiotic if you actually analyze this more. I do think it's dumb for the Browns in a lot of different ways, though. I think that their head coach is awful. I think that Jarvis Landry is going to be massively overpaid. And I think that to give up Tyrod for a third-round pick, they must really value his ability to be a mentor like a Chase Daniel. They must really value that. So one more second, guys. I just got interrupted, but I'm going to go out and I'm going to finish the show in just 1 second. All right, thanks for waiting. So could Tyrod be a Chase Daniels type of a guy? Could Tyrod hold things off? I think it makes it interesting now. Does he change if they love Darnold or not? The one thing about Cleveland throughout this process is that if Sam Darnold or Josh Allen were the guys, you would have heard about them the entire time. You would have heard that they love these guys. But Cleveland's literally interviewing Baker Mayfield, Josh Rosen. They're not committing at all. They're dripping their feet into all different kinds of water. So that makes you think that number one could really be Saquon Barkley. And then as I pointed out yesterday to my Giants brethren that are watching out there, if Saquon goes one, Davis Webb has just as much of a chance to succeed as any of these wild card rookie quarterbacks. simply trade back and get Quentin Nelson, the guard from Notre Dame who grew up in New Jersey, who is an incredibly safe pick, incredibly athletic, and can help restore Giants-type football. I mean, the guy's from Homedale, New Jersey, huge Giants fan, mobile as hell, taekwondo master, can play any position on the offensive line. I mean, Quentin Nelson's the safest pick in this damn draft. You simply trade that number 2 pick back if Cleveland's going to take your guy Saquon, but I'll tell you, Saquon would look really good in a he would look really good in a Giants uniform. Quentin Nelson to the Colts. That's pretty interesting. More mock drafts. Who knows? Bradley Chubb. Listen, then the Giants will get Minka or Bradley. I mean, Minka and Landon, Bradley Chubb. So it'll be interesting. Graph. I don't see the Niners at all moving up in this draft. I mean, Edmonds or Roquan will be there, and that's what they're going to do. The Niners are desperate for a cornerback. So Quentin Nelson, 1,000,000% top 10. I would take him top 5. Yes. Anything you watch on the kid, he's a monster, plays with a great attitude, a really flawless prospect as well. You guys have been great. 31 minutes of straight talk, and shit was pretty crazy. I think that the Browns are very entertaining. I think it's a lot of lateral movement for the upcoming draft, a lot of splash, but I don't think a ton of substance. Like, I don't know how many wins Landry's going to get them, and could Tyrod be like a Chase Daniel mentor, or will he play a little bit next year? It seems like the Browns are actually, this is thinking towards the future, and it actually is good news for Baker Mayfield because Tyrod Taylor and Baker are similar guys, and that would be a great quarterback room for the Browns to have. That would be a great quarterback room for Baker to be a part of because Tyrod knows this league. Tyrod played in Baltimore behind Flacco. He started a ton of games. And it's a good culture move to bring in Tyrod Taylor. Guy with tons of experience, classy, and a veteran. So that move isn't terrible. The third-round pick, maybe they gave up a third-rounder because Tyrod, if Tyrod was released, right, Tyrod would never want to go to Cleveland with a rookie quarterback. He'd want to go out to Arizona. He'd want to have a chance where he's going to be starting for a long, long while. But now I guess the Browns feel so much in his ability that they're trading him for a third-round pick. That's just an awfully high value for Tyrod Taylor. I mean, Alex Smith was traded for round 2. So we'll see you guys. Unbelievable time with all of you as always, and great NFL news coming out today.